Good afternoon, people. I'm here with Jarreth Merz today, and we're talking about Africa elections documentary, and we're trying to, pick his brains about a few issues that we want to know much about.
Well, hello, everyone. Thanks for having me here.
Cool. So I just want to find out from you, why did you decide to do the documentary?
Look, there's a perception of Africa that is very antiquated. There's a perception that everything that comes out of Africa, apart from the resources, is burdened with failure.
Okay.
And I think there's stories that need to be told that are success stories, African success stories. And it has to do with my own identity, with my own African identity. I'm part of different cultures, yeah, as you can see, but I have an African identity. And I was just frustrated and disillusioned about the preconceived ideas of who, the African side in me is supposed to be and how it's presented. So I thought, what better way than to really go behind the scenes, for instance, of presidential elections, and have a look how it's really done. People always talk about everything that has to do with elections in Africa usually goes wrong. Okay. Now, if that's the case, why? So we set up with the team to go and look for that question.
Wow. And how has it been, like, in terms of logistics, and was it very expensive producing the documentary?
Documentary cost us about, to this day, I would say $500,000. We started with $50,000 because nobody was interested in making this film with us. So we put our own money into it first to start. So it was $50,000. But we ran out of money very quickly, so we were broke. And then we got a partner in a TV station in Switzerland that said, we're coming on, we love Africa, we're supporting this new vision that you have and you want to represent. And then after that, other organizations came on, but we had basically to also take loans. Okay. So the film is still not paid for.
Okay.
We still have debt, but some stories have to be told no matter what.
You mentioned stories coming from Africa. Which stories currently from Africa do you think shouldn't be told?
No, I think every story should be told coming out of Africa. It's just it almost feels like there is a focus on poverty. There's a focus on famine. There's a focus on war and corruption. Now, if that's the case, we know it exists. Yeah. It's nothing new. Why don't we also focus on other stories and their complexity? I'm not just saying, let's make a commercial about Africa, everything being, all shiny, because it's not, we know. Yeah. But let's focus on things that are interesting, that are inspiring, because there's a whole different generation in Africa now, in this day and age. And, it's interesting, there's a whole landscape of these political dinosaurs that are about to be extinct. There's a different generation, and coming up, the different generations that's going to follow. And we have to be very, very sensitive and sensible about that we don't lose the chance for all the changes to be implemented that we need now to support this new system, rather than following in the footsteps of some of the African leaders that we have been complaining about. So, there's a responsibility that we have.
Yeah. So my next question to you will probably be on the response from the Ghanaian community and abroad on your documentary. And was that what you were expecting, actually?
Let's say in Ghana there's been like a lot of emotional reactions to the film, which I like, which I think are important. Let me tell you why. Because after elections, we usually forgot what happened during the elections, and we're struggling with our day-to-day lives. I think it's very important to go back, have a look, and I'm not saying this film is the total truth. How can it be? It's just through my eyes. It's a snapshot, but it gives you an idea of what happened. So let's have a look. Let's go back. Let's use this as a mirror of ourselves, a part mirror, and see what happened. And I think the majority of the audiences within Ghana understand it. Yeah. Some will say, "Oh, you made a film that you favor these people, you favor these people." Look, nobody is ever going to be able to cover everything. Yeah. But I said, please don't go into this. Your nitpicking, political attitude, which is always putting the country backwards, when the most important message is that this was a successful, democratic election, as democratic as it can get. It's an inspiration It's a Ghanaian success story. It's an African success story. It's even a Western success story. It should be an inspiration. In 2000, Bush versus Gore.
Yeah.
In the end, the Supreme Court decided who was going to be the next president. In Ghana, it's the people. Round 1, round 2, round 3, unprecedented. People go to the ballot box, I mean to the polls, and they vote. That's inspirational. And that's how the reactions have been abroad. That people have been inspired by this example, because nobody talks about it. Usually it's a little Ghana election successful.
That's it.
Well, this election was successful in 2008, but it was tense, you know.
So I guess met you on the corridor and we're talking about Ghana Decides. What do you think about project so far? Just judging from what you've seen over there.
Well, I haven't seen that much yet. All I know from, and you will help me understand more, is that you are making information available to the larger communities within Ghana to understand what is going on the, in the political field and what democracy and the process of democracy is concerned. So I think it's crucial. I think it's crucial that a generation, your generation, is stepping up to the plate to become the voice of the people. In that it's not only certain channels from political parties that are doing so, that there's independent, and I don't mean independent running candidates, but independent voices outside of the usual media houses that, make a statement so you can compare. And this is the healthiest way for a society to function. Because we also know that media in this country is not just independent. Because if you are on a tight salary, if you are dependent on, donations, how can you be impartial? 100%. Look, I believe that the journalists, everyone is doing the best they can. I'm not doubting that. I'm just saying, look at the structure. And within the structure, we need implementations, and we have to respect our journalists more.
My last question to you. What is your advice to the youth of Ghana?
Don't wait. And I don't mean that in a cynical way. I mean, the talent that I've seen and come across. My age, when I see what all of you guys and the youth is doing here, I would say, as an advice to the youth in Ghana, you have to take responsibility for your immediate environment. People talk about a global reality, but that's virtual to you. You're here. You're not somewhere there. If you start working within your communities, networking there and understanding the dynamics, that's where we will bring change. And about those changes and what you've learned, you can connect with other communities and move into a global world. Otherwise, we're connected globally, but locally it has no effect because we're living in a virtual bubble. So I think the reality check is very important, and using your skills. Assessing, finding out what your skills are, where you think you'd like to implement them. Hook up with you, with your organizations, and exchange. Ask questions, and see, because that's what I hear, what the idea is, to network and to get interested people to jump on.
It's been a wonderful afternoon. I'm very, very pleasure to be interviewing you today. And we look forward, partnering with you to actually work on the Ghana Decide project.
Okay, it sounds wonderful. The political safari, we'd love to have you on board. We'd love to, hopefully you'll join us on the journey and you'll talk about what we're doing.
Definitely, sure. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much.